Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, after years of yearning from fans, speculation, rumours, massive data breaches, and even an FBI investigation, co-founder and president of Rockstar Games, Sam Houser, posted on the studio blog and Twitter account on November the 8th that the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto will be released in early December. In just a few hours, that tweet had nearly 100 million views, almost 500,000 retweets, and over 1 million likes, all for an announcement of an announcement. As far as platforms are concerned, it's hard to imagine that as ambitious as GTA games usually are, and as far into the PS5 and Xbox Series generation we are, that we'll see GTA 6 on the PS4 and Xbox One, but we'll very likely eventually have a PC version, even if it's a staggered launch with the console versions, as they did with GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. No further details were provided, though one potential venue for the announcement is the Game Awards, which has become a go-to destination for big game reveals. This year's show airs on December the 7th, putting it in line with Rockstar's early December release window for the trailer. A release window for GTA 6 has yet to be announced. However, publisher Take-Two Interactive implied that GTA 6 may be scheduled for the company's 2025 fiscal year, which runs from April the 1st of 2024 to March the 31st of 2025. The implication is found in Take-Two's latest yearly earnings report, which included a meteoric rise in forecasted bookings for its fiscal year 2025, a rise possibly explained by the anticipation of GTA 6. Take-Two projects over $8 billion in net bookings for the fiscal year of 2025. GTA 6 is being developed by Rockstar North, which is the studio responsible for every mainline GTA game since the franchise debut in 1997. Notably, in August, Rockstar began officially working with CFX.re, which is the modding team behind the biggest GTA 5 roleplay servers, but it's unclear if that group will be working on similar content for GTA 6. However, in other news, a recent leak has suggested that Baldur's Gate 3 will launch on Microsoft's Xbox Series S and X on December the 6th. However, Larian Studios' director of publishing, Michael Dowse, took to Twitter to dispute it directly, stating, "News to me, we'll know the release date once we're confident in the release version. The plan is still before the end of the year. The key takeaway here should be that we really want a good version that Xbox fans deserve. This means we'll work on it until we're happy to release it." It's good to hear that Larian still expects to be able to ship the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 before the turn of the new year, though the wording of Michael's post does give way to the possibility of it being delayed into early 2024. If Larian Studios isn't happy to release it before the end of 2023. While the game released on PC on August the 3rd, and made its way over to PS5 a month later on September the 6th, the Xbox port was delayed indefinitely due to parity issues, preventing split-screen co-op from working on the Xbox Series S. However, Microsoft would eventually come to an agreement with Larian allowing the developer to exclude the split screen from the Xbox Series S version so that the game could then be brought to the console. But in other news, we have the Golden Joystick Awards. This year's awards took place on Friday, November the 10th, and for the first time since 2019 it was in person again, in London, as well as live streamed around the globe. But the full list of Golden Joystick Awards 2023 winners are as follows. Best Storytelling went to Baldur's Gate 3, Still Playing Award went to No Man's Sky, Best Visual Award went to Baldur's Gate 3, Studio of the Year went to Larian Studios, Best Game Expansion went to Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Best Indie Game went to Sea of Stars, Best VR Game went to Horizon Call of the Mountain, Best Multiplayer Game went to Mortal Kombat 1, Best Audio was Final Fantasy 16, Best Game Trailer was Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Best Streaming Game was Valorant, Best Game Community was Baldur's Gate 3, Best Gaming Hardware was PSVR 2, Breakthrough Award was Cocoon/Geometric Interactive, Critics' Choice Award was Alan Wake 2, Best Lead Performer was Ben Starr for his role in Final Fantasy 16, Best Supporting Performer was Neil Newborn for his role as Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3. Nintendo Game of the Year went to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. PC Game of the Year went to Baldur's Gate 3. Xbox Game of the Year went to Starfield. And PlayStation's Game of the Year went to Resident Evil 4 Remake. Most Wanted Game went to Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Ultimate Game of the Year went to Baldur's Gate 3. However, in other news, Sony Interactive Entertainment has halved the number of live service games that they're planning on releasing over the next few years. They had previously said that they plan to release 12 live service titles in the market by their fiscal year ending in March 2026, which is up from 3 during its last business year, which ended March 2023. However, earlier this year, PlayStation's management team confirmed that it had partnered with Destiny studio Bungie for a rigorous portfolio review process. According to press reports, this led to some projects being scaled back. During an earnings call, Sony president, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki seemingly confirmed that this review had resulted in some games being pushed back due to quality concerns. As he stated, "We are trying as much as possible to ensure these games are enjoyed and liked by gamers for a long time. Of the 12 titles, 6 titles will be released by fiscal year 2025, That's our current plan. As for the remaining 6 titles, we are still working on that. That's the total number of live service and multiplayer titles, and mid to long term we want to push this kind of service, and that's the unchanged policy of the company. It's not like we stick to certain titles, but game quality should be the most important thing. Among the 12 titles in development are a Last of Us Online game, a Horizon Online game, and an original IP from the PlayStation's London studio. But it's unclear on which specific titles have been pushed back and which are going forward. Also in the news, Suicide Squad's backlash hasn't stopped Warner Bros. From doubling down on their live service games. The backlash that was aimed at the live service elements featured in Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League forced Rocksteady into almost a year-long delay, but that's not stopping Warner Bros. From investing heavily in the space. In the firm's latest earnings call, CEO David Zaslav explained that the focus is to transform its console and PC titles to include more always-on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Originally slated to release in May of this year, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was delayed to February 2024 after a now infamous State of Play presentation which drew significant backlash. Off the back of their Batman Arkham trilogy, Rocksteady leaned into live service elements and gear scores. Those elements and mechanics are still expected when the game ships next year, but the studio said it's working on the best quality experience for players. However, in other news, it has been announced that the Warface Breakout servers will be shutting down on April the 30th, 2024, which will discontinue the first-person shooter's entire achievement list. Released in 2020, Warface Breakout is an online-only multiplayer first-person shooter set in the Warface universe, and is similar in a lot of ways to Counter-Strike. Sadly, its time is coming to an end, as announced on Twitter, where the team said, Warface Breakout will shut down on April the 30th, 2024, meaning that the game servers will be closed and the title will no longer be available on PlayStation and Microsoft stores. You'll be able to continue playing the game until April the 30th, 2024. Thank you for being with us. Once that server closure hits, you'll no longer be able to unlock any of the Warface Breakout achievements or trophies, as the first-person shooter is an online-only multiplayer game. According to estimates, a completion here will take between 40 and 50 hours, so you still have plenty of time providing you can actually find enough players for an online match. If you are thinking of purchasing Warface Breakout and going for the completion, make sure to double check your library first because you may already own it, as it was given away as a free game over on Xbox as a Games with Gold title in March of 2021. In other news, Crunchyroll, the popular Sony-owned anime streaming service, is now offering mobile games as part of its subscriptions as of the 7th of November. Game Vault, as the new offering is officially known, is only available to Crunchyroll members who subscribe to the streaming service's Mega Fan or Ultimate Fan tiers. The former costs £6 or $10 a month, while the latter is a US-only edition priced at $15 a month. Alongside their existing subscription benefits, which currently include ad-free streaming of anime, digital manga, and offline viewing, eligible members will gain access to a growing library of downloadable mobile games, albeit initially only available on Android via the Google Play Store, but with iOS support coming soon. As with Netflix's similarly styled offering, Crunchyroll's Game Vault will feature premium titles containing no adverts or microtransactions, starting with developer Momotai's tactical adventure game Captain Velvet: The Jump Plus Dimensions, WayForward's beat 'em up River City Girls, and the single-player RPG Wolfstride from Otto Iman Studios. Silver Lining Studios' visual novel Behind the Frame: The Finest Scenery is also included, as is Afterburn's food-themed puzzler In Bento. Crunchyroll says new mobile titles will be added regularly, with more Game Vault features set to be introduced incrementally to ensure stability. Crunchyroll's decision to include mobile games with its higher-tier subscriptions arrives a little over 2 years after Netflix took its first steps into gaming with a similar mobile-focused membership offering. Since then, Netflix has made a number of notable studio acquisitions, including Oxenfree's developer Night School and Triple Town studio Spryfox. But despite an increasing push into the market, the streaming service's own figures have shown that less than 1% of subscribers play their games on a daily basis. As for our final story, TOCA, the rights holder to the British Touring Car Championship, also known as BTCC, has announced that it's terminating a video game license agreement with Motorsport Gaming LLC. Motorsport Games is a publisher and developer, with R-Factor 2, NASCAR and Craft Kart in its portfolio. Before this announcement, it was due to produce an official BTCC 24 game, but now that may never arrive. TOCA released a press statement where they talked about the split, stating, "It is with regret that TOCA now advises that it has been forced to terminate that agreement forthwith due to ongoing fundamental breaches of the agreement by Motorsport Games. Having been given sufficient latitude to rectify those contractual breaches, Unfortunately, Motorsport Games has failed to do so. In order to protect the reputation and intellectual property of the BTCC, including those of its participants and partners, TOCA has been left with no option but to terminate the agreement and immediately withdraw all licensed BTCC rights that were provided to Motorsport Games under that agreement. TOCA is aware that this news will come as a huge disappointment to our hundreds and thousands of fans, many of whom were eagerly anticipating the release of a new BTCC game, and we very much share that frustration due to Motorsport Games being unable to fulfill its contractual commitments. We haven't heard from Motorsport Games themselves or heard their side of the story in this situation, and so far, it remains unclear whether or not this license is now up for grabs for other studios. But that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed this week, please leave in the comment section below as always, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.